the process, everything you're used to, the design tools, and just write an app. And when it comes to integrating with the vehicle, that's where Android has been extended to work with the vehicle networks, so that the car manufacturer can do things like this, like set the driving mode, for example. You can also have interactive tiles is their idea here, like this. So as a driver, little tap, I don't need to get into the app necessarily, but if I want to, I can. So let me show you just a couple of three more things here. One is the ability to start the native navigation system here, which is called Audi navigation. I start doing something pretty typical. I'm going to drive somewhere. It gives me driving directions as I expect. But what's different here is that this is integrated into the vehicle, and if you look over in the vehicle cluster over here, it's actually showing data from the same app showing up in an entirely different place in the car, and this actually isn't even Android over here. This is a different real-time operating system with safety critical information and stuff from Android. Now, did Spotify know that their current playing track was going to appear in this part of the car? Nope. They just implemented an API in their app, and it's the same one it's the same API that's used for Android Auto, on the phone, on the wearable device. It's a standard API. But now it can show up here without Spotify or the app having to do anything different. So if we go to the media app, this is Spotify. Playing. There it is. Switching tracks. And is that working? Let me just switch. Hello Spotify. Let's switch to maybe Pocket Cast and play something else.
This March 2nd.
And we can go like this, switch through. So the interesting thing here is that even though I'm switching between Android apps that are installed on the car, the experience looks really consistent, really like Audi would expect. But of course, the content is Spotify. The way it's structured is Spotify. The icon and the branding color is Spotify, but it looks like it belongs in an Audi. That's a really key point. We also have Google services on top of this as well. I mean, we're an application developer after all. So if I go switch to, what are we in now? Let me just put this back on again. And I can use the steering wheel button to launch the assistant. Play Sia.
Here you go, asking to play THNXCYA.
So I can use the assistant there. It's a little noisy, so it kind of got slightly confused, I guess, but that's okay. So it does that, but also as a driver, I want to use the assistant to do things like navigate, right? Navigate to San Francisco.
Sure, San Francisco.
And we feel like the assistant is a really natural way to interact with the car, actually, because you can keep looking at the road. You can do actually quite a lot through voice. Find a coffee shop along the way.
Showing results for coffee shops San Francisco along your route.
So I can get a lot of the way through a task, and then just with a couple more taps I can sort of finish my task over here. But this is really great for the driver because they're not having to look down constantly. And also the passenger can be involved in this as well, right? Construction. Who knew? It's pretty bad traffic around here. So yeah, what we're trying to show then, just as a kind of a summary, is really three things. Number one, Android in the car is a good way for application developers to get their content in here in a way that they couldn't do before. Then the second thing is that OEMs, the people making the cars, can build a nice user interface that represents their brand and their feel, and without changing the OS beyond recognition here. So again, if you go look at maybe the Volvo car next door, you'll see a very, very different user interface, but it's the same apps, exactly the same apps, and it's exactly the same operating system.